Hello, everyone out there. Um, my name is Cheryl, and the purpose for making these videos is to explain to you our situation, how our lives have changed over the last 2 years, and how something unimaginable has really changed us in a good way. We have good days and bad days, but we're learning to deal with this. With everything that has happened, we have been supported more than anyone can imagine by our family, our friends, and our community, as well as in other communities around the United States. I will start with a little rundown of what our life was like before. As I said, my name is Cheryl. I have a degree in nursing, so I'm an RN. I married my husband, David, in 1994. He is a police officer. We have had our ups and our downs. At one time, we were separated. We prayed, and God led us back to each other, and our relationship has been better since we've gotten back together. We've learned from our mistakes. We had 3 children, Mackenzie, Elizabeth, Lauren, Nicole, and DJ, or David Jr. When we got back together in 2007, as the years went by, we thought that everything was going good. Our girls were in high school. Our son was still in elementary school. But aside from the girls having a little bit of a smart mouth, we had very good kids, and we knew that we were doing the right things. Our family is Christian, and our children very much believed in their faith, and I will show you how much so in future videos. Our life as we knew it stopped August 17th of 2012, which is when a terrible tragedy occurred. That morning, I went into work early. I had to be up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I had to be in to pre-op patients. My patients were running late. Doctors were running late. And it just was a bad morning already. One of my friends who I work with, I was getting ready to go in the room with a patient, and she tells me that my husband is on the phone. My husband never calls me at work unless it's an emergency. Normally he texts me, but never has he called me during my working hours. That's just something that we knew. I mean, we couldn't do that. I couldn't hardly understand what he was saying. I did hear wreck, but I thought that he was in an accident. Of course, I started yelling at that point, and I said, were you in an accident? And he said, no, our babies, our babies. He was crying at the time. I hung up the phone. I grabbed my stuff, and I left work immediately. I was told I shouldn't have driven. I worked in Richmond at the time, and from Richmond to the little town where I live is about a 45-minute drive, and I was told that I should not have driven that myself. But I did, because when I talked to my husband, he told me that our youngest daughter, Lauren, who was 15, was gone, and that our oldest daughter seemed to be okay. The EMTs were working on them. All I could think in my head is to get to Mackenzie before something happens to her, if it were going to, so she could see my face and I could see her face, and I could tell her I love her, and tell her that everything was going to be okay, and we forgive her, because she always felt guilty for every little thing that she did. And at that point in time, had she been awake, I know she would have felt guilty, especially because her sister was gone. My husband, as I was on my way home, I prayed more than I have ever prayed. My husband calls me, and that's when he tells me that both of our girls were gone. I finally made it to where the accident site was, which is actually just 1 mile from our house. I learned the details of the accident. I was concerned it was texting, and it wasn't. There was a part of the road that had broken off, and apparently Mackenzie's car, Mackenzie was 16, her car went off of the road for just a little bit where that road had broken off, and she panicked and she overcorrected, and that just caused several events to happen, and she never really regained control of her car, because she began to move forward in a side skid. They were hit by a 2-ton truck. The force was so great that it actually threw their car. They were in the opposite lane, not the lane they should have been traveling in, but their car was thrown across the road onto the side of the road that they should have been traveling on. They were on their way. Mackenzie was in color guard, and she was taking her sister Lauren to be in practice. I thought it was kind of funny because they had never had band practice on a Friday that I'd known of. This was Mackenzie's 3rd year, and I've never known them to practice on a Friday, and I actually asked the girls why they had practice, and it's because people hadn't learned the steps, the marching, the new routines, and things like that. The call came into me about 7:40. The accident happened around somewhere between 7:35 and 7:40. Everybody in this town was affected. We're from a small town. There were a lot of kids that were devastated because they lost not one friend, but they lost 2. And the same goes for us. We lost 2 daughters. We still have a son that we love very much, but we still have that piece missing from our girls. I will show you pictures of our girls. This right here, this is Mackenzie. She was 16 at the time. This picture was taken on Easter of 2012. This is Lauren. She was the passenger in the car. She was 15. This picture also was taken on Easter of 2012, about 4 months before their accident. We had watched them grow into such beautiful young ladies who loved everybody and were accepting of everybody. We had hundreds of people at our house. The day was a blur. I know that I went crazy for a little while. I was screaming and fell to the ground. I thought I was going to pass out. All of which would be typical reactions for a parent who had just lost her two children. Later that evening, my husband, who is a police officer and actually drove up on the scene of the accident, not knowing it was our daughters, gave me Mackenzie's phone, which was still intact because she had not been texting, nor was she talking on the phone. Her phone was turned off. I asked my husband had he turned it on, and he said no. So once everybody left, we turned the phone on. What we found really was something special, but this was the first time that I realized that my daughter and God were telling us that the girls had made it and that they were okay. And how could they not be when they're in their heavenly home? But this is actually a drawing of what was actually on her phone. You can see that it says everything is going to be okay. The actual picture is a picture of Mackenzie's hand, and it is in her handwriting. She wrote that as encouragement to herself because she had she was starting to get down. My father-in-law, her grandpa, had passed away April 17th of 2012, and her boyfriend had broken up with her, which is another tragedy in itself. But she really was questioning her faith. My conversation with her is what has kept me strong and kept me faithful over the last 2 years. And seeing Mackenzie's hand as my screensaver every day. That basically says everything for today. Please join me tomorrow as I tell you more facts, and you'll learn more about our family and actually the purpose of these videos and what I would like to happen, and be able to spread the word. And I hope parents who have lost a child can watch this and know that they're not alone, and we are all fighting this battle together, all the angel moms and angel dads out there. Good night, and God bless you.